everyone. We are going to do some gnomes today. So, to start off, we're going to need our beige, and I recommend using a larger flat brush. And what we're going to do is we're just going to go on the outline of our gnomes, and it's okay if you go over on them a little bit. It's not going to hurt them. I always say to do the background first. That way if we do make a mistake / have the accident, then we can paint right over it. No big deal. It's one of the best things about acrylic paint is it's easy to fix. So we're just gonna go right on over, just like that. There we go. And remember, if I'm going too fast, you just pause it and you get caught up, and you can pick it right back up when you're ready. And I want you to take your time and have fun with it too. I go quickly just to kind of get you going with the video, and you can kind of see what you need to do. And then you can take your time and just enjoy how relaxing painting can be. And if you get frustrated, you just put it in a timeout. Pick it back up when you're ready. Okay, looks like we got our background. All right, now, here comes the fun part. So, I want you to take a little bit of this beige, I want you to put it on your palette, and then there's this color that looks black. It's not black. It is a green called sap green. You're gonna take a little chunk of it, you're gonna put it with your beige on your palette, and you're gonna swirl it around. And you can make it as dark as you want or as light as you want. Kind of makes this, I don't know, grayish green. And I want a little bit more. So I'm gonna grab a little bit more of the sap green. I'm gonna put it on my palette, swirl it around till it's the color I want. And there's no wrong way to make this color. So if you want it darker, make it darker. You want it lighter, make it lighter. It's totally up to you. All right, and that's what we're going to use for our bottom here. So we're going to go around our gnome feet. And if you need to get a smaller brush to get in between these small spaces, you get your smaller brush and do that. There we go. And it'll be okay if you go over just a little bit, because we will be using a very dark color called Payne's Gray as our black, and it'll go right over top of this and it'll be just fine. If you need to make more of that color, you just make some more of it. And if you can't mix it exactly right the way you did it before, that's okay, it'll just add some extra character. There we go. I think I got it. All right, now we have the bottom. Let's see, next, let's start with our reds. Okay, I'm gonna set my palette right over here. And I'm going to use my small flat brush to do my red. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start off with our hat, and you have stripes on your hat, so I'm going to start my first stripes red. And then it's going to be white, green, and then red again. So I have a little extra water on my brush. There we go. All right. Just like that. And we got white, green, more red. White, green, more red. White, green, more red. White, green, and more red. White, green, more red. There we go. I think that's all the red I need on that hat. All right, now to do the body. We are going to go along the outside of our gnome and go along the bottom. Basically outline the gnome body with this red. And what we're going to do is we're not going to go all the way up, and we're going to do up down strokes, kind of making a curve, because a lot of this is going to be his beard, just like that. So you're going to leave kind of a U shape. All right, let's do the same thing right here for this one. Outline the gnome body. Make kind of a U for the beard. It's okay if you kind of go over on the feet, because again, we'll be using a really dark color. All right, let's do this one's hat. And remember, if I'm going too fast, you just pause it and get caught up. Take your time, especially if you're enjoying doing this with a friend or family. You guys just take your time, enjoy each other's company, have a few laughs at how silly these gnomes are. It's always a good time when you're painting, as Bob Ross would say. Okay, so there's that. Now let's do our green gnome. And green's my favorite color, so let's do this. All right, we have this nice bright green. Let's start with his hat. I'm just gonna follow those colors around. There we go. Go. Just nice and around. Following the curve of that hat. Let's see. All right, now we're going to do the same thing for the body like we did on the red ones. We're going to follow the outside of the body with this green. We're going to make the bottom part of it green. And we'll let the beard fill in the rest. There we go. Just like that. All right. And now we need to do the stripes for our other one here. So I'm going to put a green stripe here. Green stripe here. Green stripe here. And a green stripe here. Yep, drop my paintbrush. That's pretty normal though. Okay. Do a nice big green stripe here. I like it when the stripes are all kind of all over the place. Nice green stripe here. probably need a little green stripe there. Okay, so let's let that dry for a minute. And while we do that, let's get our, it's called Payne's gray, but really we're going to use it as black. Okay, let's do the shoes. One shoe. And you can tell this is Payne's gray because it has a bluish tint to it. So if you were to mix it with a lighter color, you'd really see the blue. Well, that foot got out of control real fast. Let's make him a little bit bigger so his feet aren't so lopsided. Okay. There's that foot. There we go. And one more foot. All right. Now our gnomes have feet. Let's do white now. Okay. So we're going to start with this gnome over here, and we're going to put this little ball on top of his hat. And then we're going to give him white for this hat. It's kind of like a Santa hat. Now, you guys should probably let your paintings dry a little bit before you keep moving on. But since I'm on a time crunch with the video, I'm going to keep moving on. So there's going to be streaks of red and blue and green all in my white beards. But what you're going to do for your white beard is you're just going to make some curved lines that follow in. And you don't want to fill it in a whole shape. You want them to kind of come around a little bit. Go around your nose too. Because we want the beard to look kind of like a beard. We don't want it to look just like a shape. Now if you turn your flat brush sideways, it gets real skinny. And that's really great to kind of make some different shaped beard hairs. Okay, so there's that one. Let's do this one. And again, I'm just making long strokes that go down and around. They have a little curve to them. Just like that. Just some nice little curves. All right, this green is really not dry, so he's gonna have a lot of green in his beard, kind of like my hair. Go around the nose. There we go. Good enough. All right, let's do some stripes up here on the hat, so we can finish our hat. And just go in between where your white needs to be. Just like that. I made some spots really tough. Just gives them extra character, I guess. Okay, and while we're here, let's do this. Just make a single stroke across the top of your shoe. Make it look like there's highlights on the shoes, just like that. All right, I'm gonna need my round brush for the polka dots on my green hat. So what we're gonna do, so we're just gonna make little circles. You can make them big, make them small, make as many as you want. Okay, I think that's good. I'm going to use my round brush again. I'm going to go with my fleshy brown color. And I'm going to do the nose. There we go. Yep. Just like that. Okay. Now, let's get a little tricky, but I think you can do it. We are going to go back to our Payne's Gray. I want you to take your small flat brush. I want you to turn it sideways so it's super thin. And you're going to take it, dip it in your Payne's Gray very lightly. And then what I want you to do is take your palette. I want you to flatten your Payne's Gray on a spot on your palette. I'm sorry, you guys can't see that. So take it and just flatten your Payne's Gray. And it's going to make your paintbrush super skinny. All right, so be very patient with yourself on this part. You can do it. All right, so take the skinny part and I want you to follow around your beard and make curved lines, just like that. And it's okay if some spots are lighter and some spots are darker. And so once it starts to kind of fade out a little bit, go back over and do the same thing. Flatten your brush out right on the edge of your palette. It's okay if some spots are a little bit heavier than others. This kind of gives it some extra character. And you really want to focus it towards the ends there. Okay, got that one done. All right, let's do this guy. We're going to do the same thing. Since mine's not all the way dry, it's going to be a little more difficult. So I'm just going to keep taking that Payne's Gray and flattening my brush into the paint. And I'm even kind of dragging some of the paint down on his shoes, so it looks kind of like his beard is flowing down on his shoes. This one's a little harder because I didn't let him dry. So my paint's sticking a little differently. I'm going to keep going in there. All right, let's move over to this guy. Remember, just keep your brush moving flat and hold it up so it's at its skinniest point and just make curves into your white. Just like that. All right, you have some gnomes. I hope you had a good time and Merry Christmas.